You ever meet someone and feel their energy before they even do anything dramatic? No big entrance. No fake lines. No trying too hard. But somehow they stay in your head. You remember the way they looked at you, the way they made a normal moment feel charged, the way they seemed fully present while everyone else felt distracted, rushed, and forgettable. That kind of attraction is not only about looks, it is not about showing everything at once. And it is definitely not about begging for attention. Real attraction goes deeper. It lives in tension, timing, confidence, warmth, mystery, and emotional connection. It is in the feeling someone leaves behind after they are gone. In this video, we are breaking down what really makes a man feel drawn in, excited, curious, and deeply connected. Not through games, not through pressure, but through the kind of presence that is impossible to fake. Stay with me, because some of the biggest mistakes people make actually kill attraction without them even noticing. And the small shifts that change everything are much simpler than most people think. The first thing to understand is this. Desire grows in space. That surprises people because most think attraction is built by giving more, texting more, explaining more, proving more, and showing up more. But that is usually where the energy starts to collapse. When everything is available all at once, there is no spark in the waiting, no thrill in the unknown, no reason for the other person to lean in. Think about anything you have looked forward to in your life. A trip, a message from someone you liked, a night you could not stop imagining before it happened. Half of the excitement was in the build-up. The anticipation made it bigger in your mind. The same is true in attraction. A man does not feel pulled in only by what happens when you are with him. He also feels pulled in by what lingers when you are not there. That is why living a full life matters. Not as a trick, not as a game, but because a woman with her own rhythm, her own standards, her own joy, and her own focus creates natural intrigue. He starts to wonder about you. He starts to feel that your attention has value. And value grows when it is not handed out carelessly. That does not mean acting cold. It means not rushing to fill every silence. It means letting good moments breathe. It means understanding that closeness feels stronger when it has space around it. And yes, this part matters more than people realize, so keep watching. One of the biggest mistakes people make is overgiving too early. They like someone, so they start pouring everything out. Constant replies, total availability, endless reassurance, all the cards on the table before the connection even has room to grow. It feels honest, but it often removes the natural movement that attraction needs. Imagine a movie that reveals every twist in the opening scene. You would stop leaning forward. You would stop wondering. You would stop caring what happens next. Connection works the same way. When a man feels he already knows everything, when every interaction becomes predictable, the emotional charge drops. But when the connection unfolds piece by piece, when every conversation reveals one more layer, when every date leaves one more question in his mind, the bond starts to deepen. This is not about making someone insecure. It is about pacing. It is about letting attraction develop instead of forcing it. It is about understanding that intensity is built, not dumped. So if you want stronger chemistry, stop trying to rush the feeling. Let him miss you a little. Let the good night happen while the energy is still warm. Let a message land and sit for a bit before the next one comes. Let him feel your presence and then let that presence echo. That echo is powerful. That echo is where longing begins. And if this already makes sense, the next part will matter even more. A woman becomes unforgettable when being with her feels different from being with everyone else. Not because she performs, not because she copies what she thinks men want, but because she brings depth into the room. Most people are used to small talk, recycled flirting, safe, easy, surface conversations that go nowhere. That is why emotional and mental connections stand out so strongly when they are real. Attraction is not only visual, it is emotional. It is intellectual. It is energetic. A man may notice beauty first, but what makes him keep thinking about a woman is often the way she made him feel awake, the way she challenged his mind without trying to win, the way she noticed details, the way she listened beyond the obvious, the way she said something unexpected that stayed with him long after the conversation ended. You do not need to sound like a genius. You do not need rehearsed lines. You simply need to bring something real. Have opinions? Be curious. Ask questions that open a person up. Share stories that reveal how you see life. Let him discover that there is more to you than what can be seen in a glance. Intrigue grows when a person feels there is always one more layer to uncover. And that feeling, that sense that he has not reached the end of you, keeps the connection alive. A lot of people are physically attractive. Fewer are mentally magnetic. Fewer still are emotionally memorable. That combination is rare, and rare things stay on the mind. Emotional connection becomes powerful when a man feels understood without feeling judged. That is where attraction starts to move from simple excitement into something deeper. People remember those who make them feel safe to be real. Not weak, not exposed in a bad way. Safe, seen, accepted. If he feels he always has to perform, impress, or hide parts of himself, the connection stays shallow. But if he feels he can relax around you, if he feels your presence brings calm and energy at the same time, the attachment grows fast. This is why listening matters so much. Real listening, not waiting to speak, not pretending to care while thinking about the next thing to say. Actually hearing him, noticing the details, remembering the small things, bringing up something he mentioned days ago when he thought nobody would remember. Those moments hit hard. They tell a person you matter here. And that kind of feeling is deeply attractive. At the same time, emotional connection does not mean becoming his therapist or carrying his entire emotional world. Keep your center. Keep your standards. Keep your own emotional life strong. The goal is not to rescue. The goal is to connect. Big difference. When warmth meets self-respect, attraction becomes much stronger. He feels your kindness, but he also feels your boundaries. He feels your attention, but he knows it is not automatic. That balance makes your presence feel both comforting and valuable. And that is a combination people do not forget. Now let's talk about the power of energy, because people feel energy before they understand it. Before the perfect words, before the perfect outfit, before any grand move. Energy is how you carry yourself when nothing special is happening. It is how you enter a room, how you sit, how you make eye contact, how comfortable you are in your own body. Confidence is not loudness. It is not trying to dominate the room. It is not acting like you do not care. Real confidence is calm. It is grounded. It says, I know who I am and I do not need to force that on anyone. That energy is incredibly attractive because it feels safe and powerful at the same time. A woman who is relaxed in herself creates ease around her. She does not chase approval every second. She does not scramble to fill silence. She does not panic if a man takes a little time to reply. She does not shrink to seem easier to handle. She brings a kind of stable spark, and men feel that. They may not always know how to explain it, but they feel it. Confidence changes the entire atmosphere. It turns ordinary moments into charged ones. It makes a glance feel stronger, a laugh feel warmer. A pause feel intimate instead of awkward. If you want to become more magnetic, stop asking how to look more impressive and start asking how to feel more at home in yourself. That shift changes everything, and the next piece makes that energy even more powerful. Sensory memory matters more than most people think. Attraction is not just about what he sees. It is about what he experiences, what he remembers in his body, his mind, and his senses after you are gone. This is where details become powerful. The tone of your voice, the rhythm of the way you speak, the calm in your pace, the warmth in your smile, the way your presence makes a moment feel softer, richer, more alive. People remember feelings through the senses. A certain scent can bring back a whole memory. A certain laugh can replay in the mind for days. A certain touch can stay in the nervous system long after it happened. That is why attraction becomes stronger when you are more present in how you move through moments. Slow down just a little. Let your voice have texture instead of rushing. Let eye contact linger a second longer. Let your smile feel real instead of automatic. Let touch, when appropriate and welcome, be light and natural instead of constant and careless. The point is not to perform seduction. The point is to be awake in your own presence. That wakefulness makes small things land harder. A playful look, a soft pause before you answer. A moment of shared silence that does not need to be filled. Those are the moments that stick. They create atmosphere. And atmosphere is often what separates a forgettable interaction from one that keeps playing in someone's head later that night. Eye contact deserves its own moment because it can change the entire emotional temperature between two people. Most people either avoid it or overdo it. But strong eye contact is not a stare. It is a calm willingness to be present. It says, I am here with you. I am not afraid of this moment. That creates intensity very quickly. When you really look at someone, not in a dramatic way, just with steadiness and warmth, it pulls them into the present. It cuts through distraction. It makes the interaction feel more honest, more alive, more personal. And when a woman can hold that kind of eye contact with comfort, it becomes deeply magnetic. Add a slight smile at the right moment, and suddenly the air changes. The connection feels charged without either of you saying much. That is the power of nonverbal communication. It often says more than the conversation itself. But here is the key. Eye contact works best when it comes from confidence and curiosity, not from trying to manufacture intensity. You are not trying to look seductive. You are allowing yourself to be present enough that natural tension can appear on its own. People can feel the difference. One feels forced. The other feels real. And real always wins. If you understand how much emotion can live in one glance, one pause, one shared moment of attention, you start to realize that attraction is often less about doing more and more about being more present. Unpredictability also plays a role, but not in the childish sense of being inconsistent or confusing. Healthy unpredictability means you feel alive. You have contrast. You are not flat. One moment playful, the next thoughtful. One moment warm and laughing, the next calm and direct. That range makes a person interesting. If every response is obvious, if every interaction feels the same, if there is never any surprise in your energy, the dynamic can go dull. But when a man starts to see layers in you, humor mixed with depth, softness mixed with strength, confidence mixed with warmth, he becomes more curious. He starts paying attention. He wants to know what else is there. This is important because attraction thrives on discovery. People stay engaged when they feel there is still more to understand. So let yourself be multidimensional. Do not reduce yourself into one easy label. Do not become only sweet, only cool, only mysterious, only agreeable. Real magnetism comes from being fully human. Funny sometimes, serious sometimes, light sometimes. Deep when it matters. That emotional range makes your presence feel rich. It makes moments with you feel less scripted. And in a world full of people trying to present a polished image, someone who feels real and layered stands out fast. That is the kind of presence that keeps growing in someone's mind instead of fading the minute you leave. Another powerful shift is learning not to over-explain yourself. This changes more than people expect. When someone likes a man, they often start justifying everything. Why they were late, why they did not reply faster, why they said what they said, why they need this or want that. Too much explaining weakens energy because it makes it feel like you are asking for permission to exist as you are. A confident woman communicates clearly, but she does not constantly defend her right to have a life, a schedule, a mood, a boundary, or a standard. She says what she means. She stays kind. She stays open. But she does not over-negotiate her value. That calm certainty is attractive because it signals self-respect. And self-respect shapes how people treat you. When you stop acting like you need to prove you are worth choosing, the dynamic changes. He starts to feel that being close to you is something meaningful, not something he gets by default. That creates respect. And respect is a huge part of lasting attraction. Without it, chemistry burns fast and collapses. With it, chemistry deepens. So next time you feel tempted to explain too much, pause. Say less. Let your actions speak. Let your consistency speak. Let your standards speak. The strongest energy in the room is often the one that is not trying too hard to be understood by everyone. Now here is something people do not say enough. Attraction grows when you feel good in your own life. Not perfect, not finished, but genuinely connected to what makes you feel alive. Your passions matter. Your routines matter. Your friendships matter. Your sense of purpose matters. When a woman is engaged in her own life, she brings a different energy into dating. She is not searching for someone to become her entire emotional world. She is not collapsing every hope into one person. She is inviting someone into an already meaningful life. That feels different. It feels lighter but also more valuable. Men are drawn to women who seem alive in their own existence because it creates admiration and curiosity. He sees that your happiness does not hang completely on his attention. That means when you choose to give attention, it means more. It feels intentional. It feels real. And yes, that makes him lean in. Because attention from a person who loves life carries a different charge than attention from a person who is empty and looking to be filled. So build your life, keep your plans. Stay connected to what lights you up. That is not separate from attraction. It is part of attraction. The more rooted you are in yourself, the less you need to force chemistry and the more naturally magnetic you become. This is where everything starts to feel effortless, and that effortless feeling is often what people describe as irresistible. Let's also talk about emotional pacing because intensity can be beautiful, but too much too soon can break the connection. Some people think fast intensity means real depth. Sometimes it does, often it does not. Sometimes it is just speed. Real connection can handle time. It can breathe. It can build. When you allow things to unfold instead of trying to lock down certainty immediately, you give attraction space to become stronger and more real. You let trust develop. You let desire mature. You let both people choose each other again and again instead of being swept into something they do not actually understand yet. This is where patience becomes seductive. Not passive waiting, not silent suffering, real patience. The kind that says, I know good things grow well when they are not forced. That energy is calm, mature, and rare. A man feels it. He feels that he is with someone who does not need to control every stage of the story. Someone who can enjoy the moment without squeezing it for instant guarantees. Ironically, that kind of grounded patience often creates stronger attachment because it removes pressure and allows genuine longing to appear. People move closer more naturally when they do not feel trapped. So let the connection breathe. Let each date build on the last one. Let anticipation work for you. Let emotional safety and mystery exist together. That combination is incredibly powerful. Humor is another underrated force in attraction. Shared laughter creates emotional bonding fast. It relaxes the body. It lowers defensiveness. It builds private connection. And when a man associates you with feeling lighter, brighter, and more alive, he starts craving your presence in a way that goes beyond physical attraction. But the key is authentic humor, not performing, not trying to be on all the time, just allowing playfulness into the connection, a teasing moment, a quick observation, a little wit, a soft joke at the perfect time. These moments create warmth. They make the relationship feel like a place where joy can live. And joy is deeply attractive. A lot of people can create tension. Fewer can create pleasure in the simple emotional sense of feeling good to be around. That is a major difference. Someone may be beautiful, intense, and exciting, but if being around them feels emotionally heavy all the time, the attraction gets complicated. When warmth, playfulness, and ease are present, connection becomes sustainable. It becomes something he wants to return to. So never underestimate what it means to be the person whose presence lifts the room a little. Not because you entertain everyone, but because your energy allows aliveness. That is a beautiful kind of magnetism. And when it is paired with depth, it becomes hard to replace. At the same time, attraction strengthens when you are not afraid of silence. This is such a subtle shift, but it changes the whole dynamic. People who feel nervous often fill every gap. They talk too much, laugh too quickly, explain too hard. But silence, when held with confidence, can be intimate. It can create space for tension, presence, and emotional awareness. A quiet moment with the right person can say more than a long speech. If you can sit in that moment without panicking, you send a powerful message. You show that you are comfortable in yourself. You show that you do not need to perform constantly to keep attention. And that makes your words land harder when you do speak. It gives them weight. It gives the interaction texture. This does not mean becoming cold or distant. It means not fearing the natural pauses between people. Some of the most magnetic people in the world know how to let a moment breathe. They do not rush to rescue it. They trust it. That trust feels attractive because it creates room for real feeling. So next time there is a pause, do not kill it right away. Hold eye contact. Smile softly. Let the moment stretch just enough to become memorable. Those tiny shifts are often where chemistry becomes real. Something else that matters is standards, not walls, not impossible demands. Standards. People often confuse being magnetic with being endlessly accommodating, but attraction grows when a man senses that you value yourself enough to choose carefully. Standards communicate self-worth. They tell him your time matters, your emotions matter, your body matters, your peace matters. That does not push healthy people away. It often pulls them closer because clear standards create clarity and clarity creates trust. A man who is serious about you will respect that you do not accept confusion, inconsistency, or careless behavior as the price of connection. In fact, your standards can increase attraction because they show that being close to you means something. It is not random. It is not cheap. It is not available to just anyone who shows up with a little charm. That sense of value changes everything. So do not be afraid to require effort, honesty, consistency, and care. The right man will not be scared by that. He will rise to it. And if someone disappears because you have standards, that is not a loss. That is clarity doing its job. Strong attraction is never about making yourself smaller so someone stays. It is about becoming so real in your value that the right person wants to come closer with intention. Now let's get even deeper. Men do not only get attached to beauty, they get attached to emotional experiences. The reason one woman stays in a man's mind while another fades is often not about who looked better. It is about who made him feel more alive, more seen, more challenged, more calm, more inspired, more understood, more curious, more awake. That is why trying to copy somebody else never works for long. Your power is not in becoming a version of what you think men want. Your power is in becoming more fully yourself in a way that is emotionally rich, self-aware, and present. The more connected you are to your own energy, the more clearly others feel it. The more you trust your own pace, the less you chase. The less you chase, the more space attraction has to come toward you. This does not mean being passive. It means being anchored. It means you can flirt, connect, initiate, and express interest without collapsing your dignity or losing your center. That combination is rare. Open but not desperate. Warm but not careless. Interested but not over-invested too fast. That is the energy that creates deep pull, because it feels healthy and exciting at the same time. And when a connection feels both safe and electric, people remember it. So if you want to become more unforgettable, start here. Protect your pace. Value anticipation. Build real emotional connection. Bring your mind into the room, not just your appearance. Use presence instead of performance. Let your voice soften. Let your eye contact deepen. Let your life stay full. Let your standards stay clear. Let your humor stay alive. Let your warmth be real. And most of all, stop believing attraction comes from trying to force someone to want you. The strongest attraction grows when someone feels your authenticity, your self-respect, your emotional depth, and the experience of being around you. That is what lasts. That is what lingers. That is what stays in the mind when the night is over and the room is quiet again. If you have ever wondered why some women are impossible to forget, it is usually not because they did more. It is because they brought more presence, more truth, more energy, and more emotional impact into every moment. That is the shift. That is the secret. And if you really understand this, you stop chasing attention and start creating connection that actually means something. At the end of the day, the goal is not to make someone obsessed in an unhealthy way. The real goal is to create the kind of connection that feels powerful, mutual, and unforgettable. A connection where attraction is not cheap because it is built on respect. A connection where chemistry is not fake because it is supported by emotional truth. A connection where desire is not rushed because it has room to grow stronger over time. When you become a woman who knows her worth, enjoys her life, communicates with presence, listens with depth, and carries herself with calm confidence, you naturally become more magnetic. Not to everyone, and that is a good thing. You are not here to pull in everyone. You are here to create something real with the right person. So stop trying to prove your value. Start living from it. Stop forcing the moment. Start trusting the energy you bring. Stop giving everything away before connection earns it. And remember this, the most unforgettable women are not the ones who beg to be chosen. They are the ones who create an experience that feels rare, grounded, exciting, and real. That is what stays. That is what grows. That is what turns attraction into something deeper.